Well, we're in Kansas on this one. This is a late season archery hunt. It's the last 2 weekends of December, and I'm going to break it up into part 1 and part 2. But here in part 1, Curtis and I head west to go hunt with my buddy Drew on a beautiful southern Kansas farm that's holding lots and lots of deer this time of year. Can you see me?
No, not really. Let me go up.
Does this help at all?
Yeah, hold on. Let me focus.
Alright guys, well Curtis and I are headed to Kansas. It is December 20th today, and we are headed west. So we'll be out. It's late tonight, we got a late start. Curtis got off work and we headed out this way. But we're gonna go meet up with my buddy Drew. I met Drew a few years ago through video work, media work. But anyway, we're gonna go out there. He's got some good places for us to hunt. And we're gonna have fun. So it should be a fun weekend. It's gonna be cold, but it's pretty dang good weather, so it should be fun. And yeah, good way to end off the year. All right, well, we made it. We are here in Kansas. Drew got us set up. We're staying in the camper tonight. It's nice and cozy in here. It'll be pretty nice actually. But yeah, we rolled in. It's about 10 o'clock now, but I think we're gonna run downstairs and hang out, watch some football for a minute, and then we'll be hunting tomorrow. So it's supposed to be really cold in the morning. We're most likely going to sit all day unless we kill one early, or until we kill one. A lot of midday movement lately. These deer have been on camera kind of all day really, so we should see a lot of deer. Drew said the place we're hunting has one of the best views around, so that'll be cool. Hopefully we see a lot of deer, and hopefully we don't freeze. Gotta keep those frozen, but I'd say I'll be okay. Should be a good morning. I hope we see a lot of deer. We'll be headed out here pretty soon. We got our snacks and try to get everything organized. But yeah. We're gonna go sit in a cedar tree blind this morning, is what Drew calls it. So it's a ground blind. He says it's the spot. So anyway, there's a lot of deer around here. Beautiful, beautiful property. We'll get to see it as the sun comes up. But feels good to be in Kansas. Alright, well, we got set up this morning. We're sitting in this ground blind, kind of overlooking this bottom area here. This place is just a bunch of cedar trees, and that's about it. Not a lot of places to put stands up around here, so. The first morning was pretty slow. It was super cold this morning with a temperature in the low 20s. We also didn't have any wind, which made everything really loud, and it made the deer super spooky. We had a few does hang around and one shooter buck sneak up on us. We weren't able to film him until he kind of got back in the woods a little ways. He didn't quite spook, but he knew something wasn't quite right. We had a couple does come in, and then we had a shooter come in, kind of behind me here. And he picked us up pretty good. He didn't spook off, but he knew something wasn't right, and he ended up walking kind of down in front of us. I don't think we got any footage of him. And then we ended up seeing him over here walking just through the cedars. He ended up walking back kind of northeast. So anyway, it's cold. We're going to go in and warm up a little bit. I think these deer are probably going to move pretty good about noon and after. So we'll see. Should be a pretty good night.
This is their family piece. They've got like 200 acres over there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that drain is where I think all these deer come from, and they walk straight up this deal.
Yeah.
And then they're going down to the bottom, or to where this ridge, because this is where the first batch of white oaks and red oaks are.
As we were walking back to the truck, we actually ran into that buck that we had seen earlier. He had circled around us and went behind us and actually found a doe and was hanging out in the cattle pasture. It is the first evening here. This morning was cold and things just went weird, and we should have actually waited and came in a little later, but anyway, we got cold and that froze out. We went and got some food, took a little nap, but we're in here tonight and we're gonna walk down. We're gonna sit at a different spot this evening, but yeah, this spot's had some deer, and it's a pretty good deer. So it's not near as cold as it was. We're gonna take in another layer. But we're going to be in some tree stands tonight, so it should be pretty good. Hope we see a lot of deer. Hope we see the right deer. So. Alright, well, as we're walking in, we can see these deer over here. There's 5, 6, 7 of them maybe. There's 2 pretty good bucks in there. We do have the wind in our favor, and I will say these deer do seem kind of dumb, and we do have a lot of cedar trees between us and them, so I don't really know the options here, but I'm not saying we're out of the game. This might be a little difficult, but also we're in a pretty good spot, so we might just wait it out here and see what happens. Let's take it slow and just get up to this next cedar and just look. Get up to the next cedar, look, and then we'll try to take it as slow as possible. Is that a deer? This property has so many deer on it, and it made it really hard to get in the spot without spooking deer or going undetected. They don't know what's going on. We're just trying to get in here to hunt. We're finally up in the tree after that whole debacle of too many deer. And the deer were already in here at 1:30, and anyway, we'll see how the rest of the night goes. We may not see a deer, but Drew told us this stand had one of the best views, and he wasn't lying. Being in southern Kansas, we weren't far from Oklahoma, so the terrain around here was all rolling hills, and we could see for miles. The deer movement was really good this evening, and we saw a few really nice young bucks. The deer moved really well, and we saw a lot of does and young bucks. Alright, well today's day 2 in Kansas. On this trip, we only have 2 days. We'll be headed home today at some point. But we are headed to the stand. It looks like we got a late start, but we're doing this on purpose. The deer it's been so cold. They're not moving right off the bat. They're moving about 9 o'clock, and so we're gonna be getting in the stand about 8 o'clock. And yeah, mid-morning, and then kind of the middle of the day, that kind of 1 p.m., 2 p.m. time, they're out there as well. So that's what we ran into yesterday. We were trying to get in, and the deer were already there. So we are taking a little different approach this morning. I don't know if I've ever decided to go into the stand after light, but first time for everything, and I think it might work for something like this. So we do have some wind today, which is good, and it's a little bit warmer. So I think that'll help get the deer on their feet as well. But hopefully we'll be headed home about noon today. I would hope. That'd be great. But we'll see. So it'll be pretty no matter what. It's beautiful out here. Well, we just got in the tree finally. Once again, there was deer here when we were coming in, but that's partially our fault for deciding to sleep in a little bit, but it feels good. It feels like the deer should move, so it was just a couple does and one small buck that were up here. But we saw a lot of deer coming in, so a lot of deer around here, a lot of deer. So we should be seeing some deer here pretty soon. We got some wind today, which is good, and How's everybody got? It's a beautiful morning. Not near as cold as it was yesterday, so. Alright, it's about 11 o'clock now. We're getting into the middle of the day. The wind's kind of picked up. It's not necessarily cold outside, but that wind makes it pretty cold. We've seen a few deer this morning, a few does, one small buck. But that's been about it. The deer were in here for about an hour and they've headed off now. The deer moved really well from midday on into the evening. Once again, lots of young bucks and does coming in and out of the area. This was an awesome mainframe 10-point, and he has the genetics to be a giant one day. Sitting all day can be really tough, but when you're in a spot like this and you can see deer all day, it really makes it a lot easier. The evening was steady with deer movement, but we didn't see any mature bucks. We got a little excited when the 7-point came over the hill, but he still wasn't quite what we were looking for.
It's coming out right now, 7-pointer.
That was it for our first weekend out in Kansas, but in part 2 I head back to self-film myself for the very last weekend of Kansas archery season.